I think that's what you need for Blitz.
Yeah?
I mean, Eric, we need him. He's the expert at finding what music gets you pumped for Blitz, for bullet chess. Yeah, you can't have anything downbeat or slow.
Yeah. Would be kind of strange, like in that cool arena, playing Blitz and then listening to Mozart, I don't know, classical music, and here we go.
I quickly Googled Ronnie Flex. It's a Dutch rapper.
There we go. He's got the rap music on his ear, Anish Giri, and here we go, the first Blitz game.
It's the first Blitz game and a quiet start to it. It's the Reti opening. White bringing the knight out first of all, but it's very flexible. Both sides just can choose where they put their pawns, where they put their pieces. The real drama, the real clash between the two armies is yet to happen. OK, and then I said, just as I say that, the first pawn trade of the game. Now, big decision for Jorden. Will he recapture with the knight? And Anish is happy to make some trades. You can see him swaying to the music already. It doesn't look like rap music just from his body language, swaying. But OK, he must be happy with his position. White bringing the queen out very early, and Anish replying with a pawn push.
Yeah, it seems like they both know what they're doing here. They're moving very quickly. I'm actually surprised how quickly Anish is moving, because it's a bit of an unorthodox opening that Jorden has played here. And you can see that Jorden, white pieces, he's decided to be white in this game, meaning that he's got to put some pressure on. And simple development so far.
Yeah, there we go. Black's bishop's coming out. White has castled the king away. And now White is trying to gain a little bit of space in the centre. White maybe has superior development, you would think, in terms of activity, because White's queen is now nicely placed in the middle of the board. White's knight, White's bishop's also decently placed. But Black is rock solid. No real weaknesses in the Black camp. And, OK, strange move there by Anish. Just defending things with his bishop. He's going to use that bishop just to hold the fort. But he's allowing Jorden a free hand in the centre.
I really like Jordan's position. You know, it's everything I dream about when I play chess. You know, you get the free hand in the centre, you have the possibility of advancing a central pawn just to establish a grip, and it's a difficult and psychologically unpleasant position for Black to play, being so cramped.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't approve of Anish's moves either, but at least he's up on the clock. He's barely spent any time, still on 5 minutes, and now down to 4 for Jorden. That could be significant later. So Jorden needs to start pushing some pawns forward, otherwise he'll lose the momentum.
I think it's always nice to have the space advantage when you get shorter and shorter a time as well. And you can see that White has the space advantage in the centre here. It just means your moves are easier to play. That last move is stopping Anish from breaking with a pawn push. So he's just trying to keep that space advantage. Anish still playing very quickly, though.
Yeah, that must be a clear strategy. You mentioned his tiebreak a couple of days ago against Duda, and it was a bit of a disaster, right, for Anish. He just never got his game going, and he clearly learned from that.
But big move here as well, yeah. I mean, damaging your king side, but getting an open file if the bishop is captured here. So this is a very aggressive move.
Would you trade bishops now, Simon, or would you leave the bishop?
I really don't know. It's a decision I wouldn't be sure about, because if I trade, I'll be worried about getting checkmated, simply, with a brute force attack, because I've opened up a line, but I'd also want to damage my opponent's pawn structure, so...
He's taken...
Trade has happened.
I wasn't that keen on that trade, just primarily because, like you say, the line is open and it's difficult to handle White's initiative. OK, knight centralises.
If Black captures that knight with his own knight, White's queen will go to the g7 square, take the pawn in front of the Black king, and that's checkmate. White's queen and bishop have lined up together. You can't move the Black knight. If you do, you have to defend that g7 pawn. So Anish, of course, he's going to see a checkmate in one trap.
It's getting hotter and hotter now, isn't it, as well? I mean, do you put the White king in the corner, get the rook where the White king is and line it up? That also comes with risks, because maybe Anish now is ready to break in the centre. And that could be a very strong move.
Breaking in the centre is incredibly worrisome for White. I mean, I'm wondering whether White should actually take some active... And I was thinking about this move as well, centralising the queen. But, OK, can Black do it? Can he push forward, break open the centre?
Well, if he can, he will, because it's a very, very proactive move to play. I mean, White's just a couple of tempo away. If the rook was where the White king is, it'd be game over. The attack would be far too strong. There might have been some crazy idea before where you could have sacrificed your queen on f6, but, of course, I look at these things. But I think d5 now is critical.
I think it has to be almost played.
Probably does,
break out.
Yeah.
It's that moment.
Yeah,
because White has actually a dangerous threat on the board, and that's to swing the queen over 2 squares to eye up the king, and suddenly there will be a lot of pressure, but okay, he takes a step backwards.
Gone backwards, yeah.
Okay,
Treating.
knight is the king's best friend. You know, we've learned that from David many, many times.
I mean,
It's good enough.
Black's very solid, though, pawn structure-wise, it seems. I mean, it looks like White is doing very well here, but everything is defended. And he has now gone for it. He's going for the most brutal way of playing. If the rook can get in front of the Black king, it will be the end of the game.
Yep, if that white rook just gets one more move and swings over to the g-file, stares down at that black king, it's going to be all sorts of mating patterns. Checkmate in the air. So Anish, he has one move pretty much. He needs to either kick away the white queen or he needs to explode open the position. Normally, if your opponent attacks on a flank, you should counter in the centre. It just depends whether you're quick enough here for Anish Giri. Is he going to kick away that white queen with a pawn, maybe? Oh, it's scary times for Anish, despite the fact the computer thinks he's OK. In practical terms, he's up against a fearsome attack.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go that pawn in the centre 2 squares, you have to start calculating the white rook just coming and ignoring the threat. So this seems more sensible. That queen was very scary. Try to kick it away somewhere.
Yeah, blocking the white queen and the white bishop's diagonal. That being said, the black king now slightly looser than it was. He's just had to loosen up his own pawn structure to kick away the white queen. But where to go for Jorden? This is the type of position where Jorden really, really thrives.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he should definitely keep the white queen near the black king because that's your target now. That bishop that Jordan's got is a great piece striking across the diagonal. The knight is pretty good, but if you lose the momentum here, then Anish will be able to start taking control because White's got the worst pawn structure.
Okay, he retreats the queen, so still eyeing up the black king. But, I don't know, I feel some of the danger has disappeared a little bit.
Black's been able to break out in the centre.
As he's
Great.
played it.
Trade.
So maybe now Anish will be able to take over the position. That's the other thing. I mean, if you get this break and, you know, you're able to take the centre, you can easily counter-attack and take control.
Yeah, and Black has everything covered. So it's really interesting matchup here. It's Jorden, like a fearsome kind of attacker. He's going to Tal-like in a way, just going to throw everything at Anish's king. And Anish, great defender, rock solid. It's it's going to be really interesting to see how Jorden tries to keep the trend in his favour, keep the momentum going. Anish now bobbing along to the music, looking much more confident after this pawn trade. If he can get rooks off, I think even one set of rooks, Black should be completely fine. White is running out of ammo.
And also a bit of time. I mean, he's now a minute down on Anish as well, which is going to play some part. So he's continuing this aggressive idea. There might be some threats of capturing a pawn at some point, but it's Anish's move. And worst case scenario, Anish can start swapping some rooks off now.
Yeah, I think that's the safe approach. Trade one set of rooks, get rid of some of White's attacking potential. The other black rook will swing over next, maybe. I'm not sure there are any direct threats. That's what Anish is calculating. Is White actually trying to do something immediately? If not, then Black does have a timeout to bring his rook in the corner to life.
Yeah.
Can he also, once the trade has been initiated, can he actually instigate some action on the left side of the board now that there's no one to defend? OK, he does centralise his rook.
Keeping it safe, I guess. And I mean, I feel in the ending, Black will be very happy because White's pawns are weaker generally. And his king, and the white king might be a little bit weak to checks.
The white king on the same diagonal as the black queen. We can't forget that. And also, White's queen is maybe on the wrong side of the board. The black queen has easy targets on that left flank. White's queen now not being able to attack. And, OK, Jordan's had to take a timeout, improving the white king. But all the rooks have disappeared. No more attack.
And you mentioned this before, David. If you can get your queen into the centre of the board, it's often a very tempting move. Yeah. Maybe it's possible here that Black can move that queen, the most powerful piece, right into the middle. It does allow White's queen to also infiltrate. You've got to be very careful of the queen's infiltrating the position, but it's certainly something to think about.
I like your idea. I mean, it's
put it in
nice.
The middle.
Put it in the middle,
yeah.
And then once White's queen activate, you know, use the king. Teamwork. OK.
Yeah, I like this move, hitting the white queen with the black bishop. You have to do some calculation, making sure that White can't jump forward with any knight checks, for example. But the white queen lacking safe squares. Oof,
I'm kind of liking Anish's position now. I'm starting now that Jordan's initial aggression has backfired. It hasn't backfired horribly, but it's kind of died down. And when the fire dies down, your opponent can then have a go. So I prefer Black here.
Yeah, Anish also with a bit of time advantage here. He's 30, 40 seconds up on the clock. So white's queen needs to move. And Anish, look at how he was hovering just a second ago over the black queen. He was ready to centralize the black queen, as you guys were advocating. Yeah, it's all turning in black's favor suddenly. The evaluation bar as well has woken up. And here we go, Anish about to centralize his queen to defend a pawn. White's queen now offside. It's just doing nothing. It's a terrible piece now, the white queen. It's not challenging for the central squares. It's completely abandoned those pawns. And
minute up as well. It's a minute up, and if you lose a white in these things, it's very, very hard, especially against a player like Anish, who is really good at locking up the game with white.
Yeah, I think Jorden will be done for if he loses this game, and he's already up against it. Okay, he pushes a pawn. That pawn was under threat from the black queen, but that pawn's still not safe where it stands. The black queen can start attacking it later.
It must be super tense in the Oslo arena right now. 2 blitz games going on. It's looking good for Anish Giri with the black pieces in this one. It's also looking good for Jan-Christoph Duda with the black pieces in the other game. At least the bar is liking it for Duda. Must be a dramatic game. The bar has been shifting from side to side. But Jorden, what can he do to save this game?
He needs some magic. He needs a miracle. And he also needs Anish to spend too long on the clock. Suddenly Anish has spent 40 seconds on this move, and he hasn't come up with a plan.
No, he needs to. You can't spend this long on a move. This is crazy. Half your time when you've only got a minute and a half. You know, this is madness. So he's played a move which is kind of a safety first move. It's still okay, but it kind of indicates that he hasn't found a plan, which must give Jorden a bit of confidence.
That being said, Jorden down under 30 seconds now, and okay.
Does this work? Can you push the pawn? Well, then the queen comes in, I guess.
The queen steps forward 2 squares.
But now the black king can just centralize itself, getting out of the same line as the white queen. This is what Anish wanted to play anyway. This is what Anish prepared with his last move, and Jordan's just lost time. Now the black pawns are going to march forward and attack the white queen. She's still terribly placed.
20 seconds as well. 20 seconds for Jorden at the moment. And it's also, look at white's pieces. They're all in the wrong area of the board. The bishop is now not connecting to the knight, and the knight is not connecting to the queen.
Well, he made that move with 6 seconds. Well, actually less than that. 14 seconds to spare.
Looking very good, isn't it?
It's looking great. But OK, this bishop trade.
Surprising.
I'm very, very surprised by that.
Because that's nerves from Anish. Maybe in Blitz, you don't want to have to worry about knight jumps, knight forks, knight attacks. So he wanted to get rid of that piece, but black's bishop was a great piece.
This is a real safety first way, because you can't really lose now. Knight and queen coordinate brilliantly. He's put his pawn there in a light square, whereas opponent bishop can't attack it. But that was a bit too, giving away the edge, I feel.
Yeah, it's low risk but low reward now for black. He's definitely given away a lot of his advantage. Yes, he's jumping forward with the black knight, but the white bishop has found an outpost. And suddenly it's not one-way traffic anymore. And OK, the black queen getting kicked away from its central post now. If the white queen can get active, then white should have chances.
Well, this is great
this is going to be very, very committal from Anish, because once the queens are off, what happens? OK, but Jorden has said no.
No queen trade, and we see a trade of pawns instead, and white's queen is maybe going to go down to the bottom corner and then reroute itself. Suddenly, things are turning. Suddenly, I'd be worried as black.
Yeah, the white king seems to be actually very safe here, and the black king is very exposed, and you can lose that pawn on the left-hand side of the board. It's very...
Give a check. OK, king must step backwards.
I think it's Anish fighting for the draw suddenly now. Jorden has completely turned this around, but 5 seconds. He's got to take this black pawn. Give a check or take this pawn.
One.
What's happened?
Did he make a move?
Oh, small delay there, but he made the move.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Have we had anyone lose on time yet? I don't know, but it's...
Not accident, not with increment. Of course, we've had the situation with Armageddon. OK, the player's making some moves with the queen.
Yeah, still, white is the one pressing now. If you look at the knight and bishop, actually, the black knight, it's on a pretty square, but it's not contributing, not participating at all. He has to bring it into the game. And now, Jorden, is he going to push a pawn towards the black king?
He's going for the ending. I'm very surprised about that, because the ending means there's no danger for Anish. I mean, it's probably a draw, but, I mean, this is a little bit strange. Anish is
playing for the win now.
Playing for the win. He's turning around all the time.
Yeah, and look at what's happened. Never give away the centre for your opponent's queen. Black's queen now is the dominant piece. Jorden, he could have left his queen on a great square, stopping black's queen occupying.
What's this
Oh, but
move?
he's blundered a
Has he
piece.
blundered a piece?
Has he mouse
He's
slipped?
just blundered a piece.
He's mouse slipped Anish Giri.
Was it a mouse slip or was
He
it a
wants
blunder?
to bring his queen to the centre and he's just lost his knight.
I think it might have just been a blunder. I'm not sure with the stress. Oh, that
What
is
about the clocks?
that is crazy.
It's enough time for Jorden.
Oh, look how upset he is.
It's checkmate coming now within
Look
a few
how
moves.
upset. I've never seen Anish that upset.
Anish Giri, he actually just stops playing. He is super upset losing this game with a mouse slip, a blunder. We're not really sure.
Don't interview him now. I'd
Yeah.
say this is one time.